Welcome to Everything Football. In this one, we are going to be covering budget defenders. The only way we can get the likes of Messi, Kane, De Bruyne in our teams is if we have budget defenders. And you don't really need budget defenders who are 3.5 million, someone random who's going to cost your team points. Because this time at the World Cup Fantasy, if your player concedes 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, you're going to keep on getting a -1 every time they concede a goal if they're conceding a lot of goals. So you do not want that at all. Instead, you want a defender who's going to score your goal. That can get you 7 points. And if your defender can keep a clean sheet, that gets you 5 points. So this feels like it's very, very important to get your defenders right. You don't want to just end up with someone random. So I've picked out 3 defenders, budget defenders less than 4.5 million that can be exactly that. Defenders who might end up going forward and scoring from a corner or pushing forward from left wing back, right wing back. We need those kind of defenders. Or a defender might even end up playing in midfield. Quite important. Imagine that. If your defender ends up getting 2 goals and a clean sheet in one single game, you're looking at 20 plus points. That would be massive. So I'm going to talk about 3 defenders. I have actually done research on up to 8 defenders, but the other 5 picks will only be available for the channel members. So if you want to become a channel member and get bonus content, extra picks, podcast during the World Cup, and even during the FPL season, during the World Cup, during the UCL fantasy season as well, feel free to join the membership option. And yes, let's get started. The link for that will be in the description. My first pick will be Joakim Mæhle. Joakim Mæhle is my first pick from Denmark. It's only going to cost you 4.5 million. I think this is a massive steal. You'll probably hear a lot of people talking about him, and it's very true. He's pretty good. He's started the last 20 plus games for Denmark, and in that time, he has scored 8 goals. Yes, he's a defender and he scored 8 goals. So if you can get like 3 goals at this tournament because of the position he plays, that would be massively beneficial. Now, I would expect a lot of people to select him by the time we get closer to the competition because of all the articles and everything. Last time at the Euros, he did pretty well as well. He scored 2 goals at last year's Euros. He's always a fantastic option at his club, Atalanta. And his group has Tunisia, France, and Australia. Now, against France, you might not expect them to keep a clean sheet, yes. But actually, recently, they played against France at the Nations League, in the Nations League competition, and France did not beat them. Denmark beat France home and away. And in the second game at Denmark, they actually kept a clean sheet against France. So actually, the last game that Denmark played any game international was against France, that game that they beat them 2-0. So that shows you that he's still a very good option in that group against Tunisia, a team that never scores a lot of goals, and also against Australia. His team plays in a back 5, so that allows him to push forward a lot. And during the World Cup qualifiers, he played 9 games and he scored 5 goals in those 9 World Cup qualifiers. So he's one of the main reasons why they're actually at the World Cup this time round. So his team love a clean sheet as well. Denmark do not concede that many goals. They love a clean sheet for sure. As I say, they kept a clean sheet in the last game against France. They do not. You don't expect them to concede 2 or 3 goals in a game. Even against France, I'd not be surprised if that game ended up being a 1-1 or something. So during the years, as I said, he scored 2 goals and got an assist. He is a very, very good option. On that left side, against any team, for sure, I would expect him to at least get a goal in this tournament. So Joakim Mæhle is the first option from Denmark at only 4.5 million. That is a massive steal. Second option, we will go to Tunisia. Montassar Talbi is my pick. 4 million is what it's going to cost you, and he plays for Tunisia. Now, speaking of Tunisia love keeping clean sheets. Out of the last 10 games that Tunisia have played, they have kept 8 clean sheets. Yes, they've only conceded goals in 2 of those games. Now, I cannot ignore this. One of those games, they actually did concede 5 goals against Brazil, yes, but Brazil is a very, very good team. But the player I'm talking about right now, he actually scored in that game. That 5-1, that 1 goal was scored by Talbi. So he does have an attacking threat. He scored against Brazil in one of the last games that they played. And in those clean sheets, they've managed to shut out Nigeria. They shut out Japan as well, and Chile too. So that is a very good pick. He is in the same group as Joakim Mæhle, Denmark, France, Australia. And Tunisia usually depend on their clean sheets. They don't score a lot of goals, so they usually depend on their defense. So you'll see a lot of 0-0s and 1-0. So let's say I have Joakim Mæhle and Talbi when Denmark play Tunisia and it ends up being a 0-0. That is exactly what you want. A clean sheet from your defender or a goal from your defender. So he is a very good option as well. Now, last time at the last World Cup, Tunisia conceded against England, and they also conceded like 5 goals against Belgium, if I'm not wrong. So that is the last World Cup, though, we are talking about right now. During the African Cup of Nations early on this year, he was pretty good. And in the recent qualifiers, they have been good in terms of keeping clean sheets. So Montassar Talbi at only 4 million. That is not bad at all. 4 million is something you can definitely survive with. And if you get a player at 4 million, you can definitely afford more expensive midfielders and expensive forwards as well. Byron Castillo is the third and final option in this video. He plays for Ecuador and is going to cost you 4 million. Now, Ecuador, just like Tunisia, they love a clean sheet. In the last 5 games, Ecuador have kept 5 clean sheets. Yes, they have not conceded a goal in the last 5 games. Castillo loves going forward. He's actually been used as a winger for Ecuador before. So if he ends up playing as a winger, especially in that first game against Qatar, I would expect them to beat Qatar. They also have Senegal in that group. They also have Netherlands. Now, against Netherlands, you would expect Netherlands to score. But since he can push forward, since he might end up starting as a wing at only 4 million, if he ends up scoring a goal, that basically covers, or ends up assisting, that basically covers, even if they concede 2 goals. But I'd actually expect them to keep a clean sheet against Qatar, and he might end up maybe even keeping a clean sheet against Senegal if Mane doesn't play in that game because he's currently an injury doubt. So 4 million, I think, is a very, very good price for Byron Castillo. Ecuador, a lot of people are looking for Ecuadorian players for that first game to get yourself in the mood for the World Cup in that first match. So Castillo is a good option. There's a couple of more options from Ecuador as well, forward players, defenders, and all that. But I think Castillo at only 4 million, he is a massive steal. He plays as a right back. If they end up playing in the back 5, he could be a right wing back. If someone else is chosen at right back, he might end up starting on the right wing. So those are my 3 options in terms of best budget options. Joakim Mæhle of Denmark is going to cost you 4.5 million. A massive attacking threat. He scores goals and assists for fun. Montassar Talbi is playing for a Tunisia team that love a clean sheet, 8 clean sheets in the last 10 games. He also scored a goal against Brazil in one of the international games in the last international break. And then Byron Castillo of Ecuador, 4 million as well. He loves bombing forward on the right side. He can play as a wing as well for Ecuador in that group. Very, very good option. So let me know, are you going to pick any of these options? And a reminder, if you want to take a look at the other options, I've talked about 5 more options in the member video. So budget options, we definitely need them. That is the only way you can get the likes of Messi and Kane into our teams. And you don't want to end up with a random 3 million defender who's going to concede 6 goals and cost you points. You definitely do not want that. So thank you for watching. More videos coming very, very soon. I appreciate it, and catch up with you guys on the next one.